Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the next topic on network analysis. Till now we have discussed about two topics from first unit. That is, the first one is about the network topology, and the second topic we discussed about the magnetic circuits. So, in network topology, we discussed about tie set schedule, cut set schedule, what is incidence matrix. Then coming to magnetic circuits, we have discussed how magnetic circuits are being magnetically coupled, and then after that we discussed about series aiding, parallel aiding, then series opposing, parallel opposing based on dot convention. Then after that we have discussed what is the importance of coefficient of coupling, which is being represented with K. Then we have solved a few problems based on magnetically coupled circuits. Now today we will be discussing about the last topic of the first unit, which is ideal transformers. So what is an ideal transformer? So ideal transformer is one with perfect coupling. So in the previous class we have discussed about that coefficient of coupling K has four different values, and the value of K normally will range from 0 to 1. So when K is equal to 1, then it is not coupled. Then when K is equal to 1, it is perfectly coupled. So an ideal transformer is one with perfect coupling K is equal to 1. It consists of two or more coils. So two or more coils, we know that its inductors are nothing but the coils with large number of turns wound on a common core of high permeability. So what is an ideal transformer here? Ideal transformer is nothing but it is a perfect coupling with K is equal to 1, and it consists of two coils with a large number of turns wound on a common core of high permeability. To see how an ideal transformer is uh, the limiting case of two coupled inductors where the inductances approach infinity and coupling is perfect, let us re-examine the circuit shown in the figure. Now let us consider the figure which is shown here. So if you see, there are two coils L1 and L2 with self inductances are shown here. Then the dots are being placed such that to understand the direction of the mutual inductance, that is M. Then we have the voltage induced on the first coil as V1 and the voltage which is induced on the second coil as V2. Let I1 and I2 be the two currents which is being flowing through both the coils, and M is the mutual inductance. So let us understand what is an ideal transformer here. Now, applying in the frequency domain, applying KVL to the circuits, we get the voltage which is induced in the first coil and second coil based on the dot convention concept. We can write it as V1 is equal to J omega L1 plus J omega M into I2. Why I am taking plus sign here? The plus sign indicates that the dot is placed such that the current through both the coils is entering here. So that is why we need to put plus sign. So J omega L1 is the self inductance of the first coil plus J omega M into I2 is the mutual inductance which is created on the first coil because of the current which is flowing in the second coil. Similarly, we write V2 is equal to, V2 can be written as J omega L2 into I2 plus J omega M into I1. Now from equation 1, we can write the current I1 as equal to, I1 can be written as V1 minus J omega M into I2 whole divided by J omega L1. Now substituting this value of I1 in the equation 2, we get the following equation. Now we know that the relationship between the self-inductances L1 and L2 and the mutual inductance M with respect to coefficient of coupling K is nothing but it is M is equal to K into square root of L1 and L2, which we have already proved in the previous class. So now for ideal transformer here, the coefficient of coupling K value is equal to 1. Therefore, we get M value as equal to square root of L1 into L2. Now substituting this in the above equation, we get this particular equation with respect to V1. Now further solving that equation where the sum of the parameters get cancelled. Now finally we can write V1 can be written as V1 can be written as here, if you see in the last, is equal to, it is square root of L2 divided by L1, right, into V1. This can be written as N into V1. Now what is N? Let us understand here. So from the equation by comparing, now we can write that where N can be written as square root of L2 divided by L1. From now onwards, this term N is known as a turns ratio. So what is turns ratio? Turns ratio is the ratio of square root of L2 divided by L1, where L1 and L2 represent the self-inductance of both the coils. Now, as L1, L2, M approaches infinity such that N remains the same, the coupled coil becomes an ideal transformer. So, the condition for an ideal transformer here, the coefficient of coupling K value should be equal to 1, and L1, L2 and M should approach to infinity. A transformer is said to be ideal if it has the following properties. Now listen carefully, the properties of ideal transformers are important here. The first property here, it is coils have a large reactances, that is L1, L2 and M should tend to infinity. That means they have very large reactances. How do we represent the reactances? That is J omega L1, J omega L2 and J omega M. Now coming to the second property says that the coupling coefficient is equal to unity. That is K value should be equal to 1. And third property is primary and secondary coils are lossless. Lossless, that means R1 and R2 will be equal to 0. When there is no resistance, then we say that there is no power loss in the transformer. Now, based on all these properties and the condition that we have derived, now let us define an ideal transformer. So, what is an ideal transformer here? An ideal transformer is a unity coupled. Why it is called as a unity coupled? Because we are taking a coefficient of coupling as 1. So, an ideal transformer is a unity coupled, right? Then it is lossless transformer in which the primary and secondary coils have infinite self-inductances. I hope it is clear to everyone. By combining all the three properties of an ideal transformer, we can define an ideal transformer is a unity coupled where K value is equal to 1. It's a lossless transformer because R1 and R2 we are taking it as 0, in which the primary and secondary coils have an infinite self-inductances. Please remember that I am using the word here as an ideal transformer. What is the meaning of ideal transformer? Ideal means always they are the standard conditions which normally does not occur practically. We are talking about the ideal condition. So for ideal condition, K value should be perfectly 1. Then R1 and R2 should be equal to 0. Then L1, L2 and M should approach to infinity. Now, let us see how do we represent an ideal transformer. So, ideal transformer is basically represented with particular symbol where this shows the number of turns N1, that is the primary winding. This shows the number of turns that is on the secondary winding. N1 and N2 represents the number of turns on the primary winding and secondary winding. This is the representation of an ideal transformer. Practically, the symbolic representation of an ideal transformer is shown below here. It is being represented with two coils, and the number of turns in two coils is represented as N1 and N2. Then dot convention, we already know. Why do we use a dot convention? Dot convention we use to know the direction of the induced mutual inductance voltage. So we use the dot convention. Here N1 and N2 represents the number of turns in the primary winding and then secondary winding. Now, coming to when a sinusoidal voltage is applied to the primary winding. So, let us assume that some sinusoidal voltage is applied on the primary winding. Primary winding is represented here and the induced voltage on the primary winding is given as V1 and the current flowing through primary winding is I1. Now, so the same magnetic flux phi goes through both the windings because they are magnetically coupled. Now according to Faraday's law, the voltage across the primary winding can be written as, so which we have already studied while discussing the magnetic circuits. So voltage which is induced in the primary winding can be written as V1 is equal to N1 into d phi by dt. Whereas the voltage which is induced on the secondary winding can be represented as V2 is equal to N2 into d phi by dt, where N1 and N2 represents the primary and secondary windings respectively. So this we already discussed, right? Now let us understand some more properties which are related with the transformer. Now dividing the equation 6 by equation 5, we get V2 divided by V1 is equal to, it is N2 divided by N1, which is nothing but N, where N is again known as the turns ratio. Already we have defined one turns ratio definition as square root of L2 divided by L1. Apart from that, the turns ratio N can also be defined as V2 by V1 is equal to, it is N2 divided by N1. Now we can use this phasor voltages V1 and V2 other than instantaneous values of V1 and V2. Then equation 7 can be written as V2 divided by V1 is equal to, it is N2 divided by N1 is equal to N. That is the new definition of the turns ratio with respect to the number of turns in the primary and secondary winding with respect to the voltage which is induced in primary and secondary winding. Now for the reason of power consumption, if you consider that energy which is being supplied on the primary winding must be equal to the energy which is being absorbed by the secondary winding, then only the purpose of the ideal transformer will be successful. That is, as we are telling that the ideal transformers are such that there are no losses in the ideal transformer. That means the amount of energy which is being supplied by the primary winding must be equal to the energy which is being absorbed by the secondary winding, such that the power can be written as voltage into current. So the amount of voltage which is induced in the primary winding is V1 multiplied with the current in the primary winding I1 is equal to, it is V2 into I2. Now in terms of phasor representation, if we write, then dividing here, cross multiplying here, V2 divided by V1 can be written as I1 divided by I2, which is equal to 1 by N. That is another definition where it gives the relation between the current and the voltages with respect to turns ratio. So now when based on the condition of N, now we can say what type of transformer it is. So now there exist three conditions for turns ratio N. So the first condition is when N1 is equal to 1. When N1 value is equal to 1, that means N2 divided by N1, that is number of turns on the primary and number of turns on the secondary windings are same. Under such conditions, the transformer is said to be an isolated transformer. So when N is equal to 1, that means the number of windings on the primary is equal to number of windings on the secondary. Similarly, if N value is greater than 1, then we say that it is a step-up transformer as the voltage is increased from primary to secondary. That means the voltage which is there on the secondary transformer is always greater than the voltage which is there in the primary winding. That is V2 is equal to V1, provided N value is greater than 1. Similarly, on the other hand, the third condition is if N is less than 1, then the transformer is said to be step-down transformer where the voltage is decreased from primary to secondary. That means V2 value will be less than V1. So now we have three types of transformers here. The first one is an isolation transformer. The second one is a step-up transformer, and the third one is a step-down transformer. So which normally depends on the value of N. N is the turns ratio. So N value equal to 1, N value is greater than 1, and N value is less than 1. Based on that, we have three types of transformer. Now we can define the step-down and step-up transformer. So what is step-down transformer? A step-down transformer is the one whose secondary voltage is less than its primary voltage. That means the number of turns on the secondary winding will be less than the number of turns in the primary winding. Under such condition, the voltage which is induced in the secondary coil will be less than the voltage which is induced in the primary coil. Such transformers we call them as a step down transformer. Now what is step up transformer? A step up transformer is one whose secondary voltage is greater than the primary voltage. So these are the two types of transformers which we have to understand while analyzing the step transformers. So these are the different conditions of the transformer. So in the next class we will discuss how to solve the problems based on step up and step down transformer.